I'm sure you've heard about the saying, if you plan to fail, then you fail to plan. And so when you're thinking of growing your photography business into a six figures or multi six figures business, you definitely need to have your goals set up, and you need to also create the KPIs that would ensure you're working towards those goals. A six figures business is not achieved by just wishing and dreaming and hoping and going with the flow and thinking things would pan out. It's actually achieved by being strategic, by putting plans in place. And so if you've seen people on social media or on YouTube who feel like, oh, this free-spirited air fairy person just going with the flow, it's a lie. They are strategic, they are smart. Have you tried posting on YouTube every single week for a year? Every single day on social media for a year? If you've tried that, then you know it's hard work, coming up with the ideas, coming up with the concept, filming, editing, promoting yourself, scheduling. Those are not dumb people. Don't let like their easy free flow way sort of like confuse you. And so apart from, creating goals for your photography business, what also you need to figure out is how you want to live your life, the sort of lifestyle you want. Do you want to be a full-time photographer or a part-time photographer? And then work out a plan that would enable you achieve your yearly goals. And this is what I'll be sharing with you in this video, how I go about doing mine. So, before you start to create your goals, you want to think about what is your dream life, what is your purpose, what are your passions, and once you have the idea of where you want your life to go, then you can start to create goals that would enable you to walk towards that life of your dreams. So, in my notes, I've written dream freely and wildly. Don't hold back. What do you want to leave as your legacy? So you should be thinking about this. I know there's a whole 5-year goal, 5-year plan, 10 years. What does your dream life look like to you? You can do that. And but I believe breaking it down a bit, while you may know what you want, like your life to look like in 10 years, what do you also want it to look like in 3 years? You want to be able to manage these goals and make sure you're working towards it so you're not overwhelmed by so many ideas. And so, for example, I know that in my future, I want to be bicontinental. So I don't want to reside in the UK alone. I also want to reside somewhere tropical. Now, ideally, it would be on the African not planet, continent. Ideally, I would have loved it to be Nigeria, but Nigeria is like a chaotic place right now. So in the next 2-3 years, no thank you. And so my task in the next coming years is to figure out where that second base would be. So I've been to Ghana several times and I have strong connections and roots there. So that's somewhere I can easily make my second base. But I also love to explore, other parts of Africa a bit more, try out other West African countries I haven't been to. For example, Senegal is high on my list. I also would love to visit Kenya. Nairobi just seems like an amazing place. And there's some other islands around Kenya as well, which I would love to explore. So those are places I'm going to be traveling in the next coming years so that I can start to like see where I would love that second base to be. So in my goal, I would definitely include travel destinations to African countries because that's what my dream life is going to be. And so when you're creating your goals, you want to start thinking about the logistics and the plans and the strategies that you can create to enable you to walk towards that dream life. So now, like I said, you don't want to get overwhelmed by your dream life because your dream life is exactly what it says. Don't hold yourself back. If your dream life is not scaring you, if you're not thinking, oh my gosh, how the hell am I going to achieve this? Then you're not dreaming big enough. Sis, bro, dream big enough. Dream wild. Like, when I think about my dream life, it doesn't just entail photography or writing. It's like freaking massive, and it's going to take other people getting involved to achieve what I want to achieve, to leave the legacy I want to create. And so I know in the coming years as well, my networking needs to be on point, because I need to find the amazing people who will be aligned to my vision and have similar visions to work on this dream goal and this legacy that is going to literally impact thousands of lives on the African continent. So please dream big, because you're going to break it down into manageable chunks. But for now, dream big. Anyway, so once you've figured out or you've created that dream scenario in your head, you now need to think about what 3 to 5, how many manageable goals can you list for this year that would enable you to work towards that dream life. So now your dream life is so massive, you cannot achieve it in a year. Don't be ridiculous. But how can you break it down so that by the end of next year, you're one step further closer to that dream life? That's what we're working now. So yeah. So for example, if you think about my dream life of wanting to be bicontinental, one of my goals for next year is saving up, save as much as I can. So I have to ensure I'm growing my business profitably so I can pay myself enough to cover my bills for the here and now, and to also save for investments and save for the future. So because I want to be bicontinental and I want to still be able to get the same sort of income I am now, I know that I have to create like a business where I can run it anywhere. So with my photography studio, it's based here in London. And so what I decided to do is I would like to create a business that is digital, so that way I can work from anywhere. And so when I go to my second base, somewhere tropical, I haven't decided yet, I will be able to work from there and I'll be able to earn. And hello, I'm here on YouTube. That's why I'm starting YouTube. So for my 2023 goal was to start a YouTube channel and start to grow it, so that in the future, in another 2, 3, 4 years, I would have grown a community. I'm offering value and I'm also making money as well. So that way, when I travel out of London, I can keep making videos from anywhere and I can continue to earn. And that way is sustaining my lifestyle. Okay, so once you've written those goals you want to accomplish for the year, the next thing I would usually do is to pick a theme for the year. So usually every year I would choose a number of words that I want to signify my year. So for example, this year for me was growth and balance. So I really wanted to grow my business into a 6 figures business, and I also wanted to create an avenue where I'm not working myself to the ground, where I will be able to get some balance so I can, live a healthier lifestyle. I can do other things apart from running my business, such as reading, going for fun events, dating more, and just having time to myself. And so I didn't quite know how I was going to achieve that, because in order to grow my business, it felt like I needed to dedicate even more time and more things to ensure that happened, and obviously doing more shoots and sessions in order to gain more income. But I was just like, God, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna grow my business into a 6 figures business and I'm gonna achieve balance. I cannot come and kill myself, I beg. I know if you kill myself, I need to rest, man. I need to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And lo and behold, an unplanned event happened in July. And I just got my time back. I now work full time for myself. I can structure my days how I want it to be structured. I'm paying myself more than I've ever done. I'm now, I have a retoucher, I have a hair and makeup stylist I work with. So those sort of tasks are no longer my responsibility. I also hired a content manager earlier in the year, but that didn't go well. So I had to fire her. And so I'm still doing my social media myself, but that's something I'm looking to outsource in the coming months. So pick a theme. Once you've listed that goal, you see how the goal, what it is, and your goal shouldn't just be business related. It should also have your lifestyle and what you want for yourself personally, in terms of spiritually, your health, your social life, everything. And so pick a theme that would also encompass those goals and help you stay focused on your vision. And so now, once you've picked your theme, I do affirmations, I believe in manifestations. And so you want to start to envision that life you want for yourself in the coming year and those goals you've listed, and you want to write them down as affirmations. And so, how I do mine is every night before I go to bed. Well, while I'm laying in bed, I start to say I start to say my affirmations. I start to manifest. I'm visually in that dream life. Those goals I've listed, I'm like, visually having them in my head, dreaming them. And as I'm doing that, I sort of lull myself to sleep. And then when I wake up as well, the first thing I do is say a prayer. And then I start to say my affirmations again. I start to visualize that dream life. I start to think about those goals I want to accomplish. Like I've said on this channel several times, your mindset is the biggest tool that would accompany you on your journey to accomplishing whatever you want to accomplish in this life. And so you have to attune yourself, your brain, your psyche, your spirit, everything to sink into one, to see that vision you have for yourself. And you're constantly wiring your brain and telling yourself this is what you want your life to be. And so of course we're going to do the physical things and the strategic things that would enable that to happen, but you also want to make sure you're doing the mental and the spiritual things that would help it to happen as well. And so a big thing is to keep remembering your why, and which is why you have this big vision of your dream life and you've broken it down to what you can do this year. And even when it's tough and you're having those down days, remembering your why, you're working towards this dream life. That's why you need to accomplish these goals this year. That would keep you motivated. That would keep the fire burning, right? Because you're not just deciding to do this for some random whimsical reason. You are doing this because you're working towards your dream life. So now take those big goals you've written for the year and start to think about what you'd have to do to achieve every one of them. So make sure you're adding things like, health, spirituality, personal relationships, social activities to those lists as well, because this is not just about business. When you're creating, your year goals and your yearly plan, you want to make sure you're incorporating other aspects of your life as well. So for example, if to give my own example for this year, I knew I wanted to start YouTube strong. So starting YouTube was the big goal. And then underneath it was I need to invest in education. So that was a smaller goal I wrote down. So I knew that at some point in this year, I would have to decide on who I want to learn from in order to learn everything I needed to know about, YouTube in 2023 in order to start it properly. And then in order to pay myself more so that I could save, I knew that I needed to be able to work with more clients than I did last year. And in order to get more clients, I basically needed to be able to reach more people to know about my services. And so the smaller thing I wrote on my list was to create a marketing calendar. And so I created a marketing calendar where I had a campaign going on every single month in order to make more people aware of my business and just getting people to inquire with me. And so I've actually decided I'm going to run a free live webinar in December where I'm going to show you how I go about creating a marketing calendar for my photography business. And so if you're interested in attending that webinar, make sure you subscribe to this channel and make sure you subscribe you follow me on Instagram as well, because I'll be announcing and sharing the links on there. And so, yeah, so in order to also create more time for myself and to have that lifestyle balance, I also knew I would need to hire freelancers. So I wrote down the type of freelancers I wanted to hire. So I wrote down I wanted a researcher, I wanted a content manager, and I also wanted a video editor once I'm monetized on YouTube. So those are the smaller goals you're going to write. Those are the smaller, your KPIs basically. Those are your KPIs you're going to write down, because those KPIs would enable you to hit that goal you want for the year. Now that you have a list of everything that you need to do in order to make your goals for the year happen, the next step is to plan backwards. So in order to work backwards, we're going to break down these tasks, these KPIs you've written down into monthly chunks. And if you think about it like in quarters, which is how I do my own plan and goals for the year, in every quarter there are things I need to do in order to reach those big goals I want for the year. So for example, in order for me to reach 6 figures, it means I need to have more clients so I can get more pay. And so what I did, like I said previously, was to create a marketing calendar. And so I divided that marketing calendar. Of course, we have 12 months in a year, and in quarters is 3 months. So let's say, for example, I wanted to get more clients in March. I knew that what I would love to do is run a Mother's Day campaign. And so in order to successfully run a Mother's Day campaign in March, I know that in January, I need to have already created the assets to launch that campaign. So assets for me would be the sort of, if it's a themed photo shoot for my Mother's Day campaign, I would have shot those images in January. And so in February, I can start to create the copy, I can create my landing pages, I can create my text, my emails, my social media posts, I can schedule all of them. So come Mother's Day, I'm not running around like a headless chicken. I've already worked on everything and it will just roll out seamlessly. So this month in November, you need to start thinking already of what your goals for next year is going to be, and you need to start planning towards it. So the first few months of the year, you start strong. And so how I work on my KPIs and my tasks for each quarter is at the start of the year, I will write the goals, I will write all the, KPIs and smaller tasks. I will section them into different quarters of the year. And so when the months arrive, I will then look at those tasks I need to complete in each quarter and decide which one is best to be done in January, in February, or in March, and then go from there. And so let's say we arrive in January, I would see all the things I need to do. I need to schedule in my Valentine's Day sale or promo. I need to do XYZ. I need to like sign up for this pole dancing course I want to do. I'll list all of that in the month January, and then every week in January I'll pick up those tasks. Like you're furthering breaking them down into smaller chunks, so when it comes to like what you need to do every week, you don't have to think, you don't have to like not know what to do. You know what to do because you've created a plan for the quarter, and each quarter you've decided what would work in each month, and then each month you just can easily then pick, okay, I'm going to do just 3 things in the first week, these 3 things in the second week. Some of these tasks could overflow into other weeks, that's fine, but as long as you're keeping on top of what those mini chunks are, you will find that towards the end of the year, you're like already ticking off some of those big goals for the year because you've just kept at it. So this is how I create my yearly goals and how I make them manageable. I never not know what to do. I never am confused. I never have weeks where I'm just like, oh shoot, what do I do today? No, I know what to do today because I know what I need to do in this quarter to achieve my goal. I know what I need to do in this month to achieve those quarterly goals. And once you've broken it down and you're working backwards, you will just see that everything flows much more easily for you and you can achieve all those goals. And procrastination is not a thing because if I've not done the photo shoot in January, how am I going to do the campaign in March? Okay, let's say I can move it to February, but you can get what I'm saying. It would help you a lot. And when it comes to discipline as well, you have to be self-disciplined and know that you have to meet your own deadlines. If you're working a 9 to 5 job, you're going to do what you have to do because you don't want your manager talking crap. You don't want anyone telling you what to do, so you get it done. So when you're running your business, when you're running your life, you have to take the same approach and put yourself up on a pedestal. Okay, now I must say, don't bite more than you can chew. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. Some tasks would work in the allocated time frame, some won't. Sometimes I've put some tasks and some KPIs that I need to hit in the first quarter of the year, but depending on how things evolved and how busy I get, I may have to move it to another quarter. Finally, I would like to say that no matter how organized you are and how well you plan, the truth of the matter is some goals may end up overflowing into the next year. And that's totally fine because remember, the goal you've created for a year is leading you up and working you up to your dream life. So if that means some of the goals you thought you'd be able to do this year, you're not able to achieve them, it's fine to move it on to the next year because either way, you're working towards your dream life. And because you had KPIs for the year and you had things going on in every quarter and every month you were working on something, you're going to look back and see, oh wow, I actually was able to tick off a lot of things that would enable me to reach my dream life. I wasn't just lazing around. I wasn't just doing things that weren't important. And so give yourself that grace. And I also very much believe in divine timing. But as long as you're working towards your dream life, you know that right here in this moment, I'm doing all that I can do to live the life of my dreams. And if the curtain calls tomorrow, there are no regrets. You were doing the best that you could have done in the time you had. And that's how I live my life. I hope this video has given you a good insight into how to plan your goals for the year in order to achieve success. So again, I would like to say I'm going to be running a live free webinar where I'll be sharing how I go about creating a marketing calendar for my photography business. Every single month, there's a campaign, there's a strategy, there's something going on to enable me to hit my goals for the year. So if you'd like to learn and like to get some insight on how you can go about creating your own marketing calendar for your photography business as well, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and you follow me on Instagram so you can, get notified once I have the link to the meeting on. It's going to be in December, so that way, like I said, you can plan in time for next year. Yeah, you definitely don't want to miss it. Also, if you have any friends or colleagues who would love to learn more about planning for the year, goal setting, creating KPIs for their photography business or their personal lives, share this video with them and yeah, let's all grow together. And so if you've enjoyed watching this video, I think you would definitely find value in this video where I talk about how to grow your photography business into a 6 figures business. I'll see you next week. Bye.